let's get through the injuries first then,
Yeah,
or
okay,
rather
yeah.
maybe the returnees. Who's back tomorrow that and available that you that we haven't seen for a while?
Okay, we'll Ben's in our 18. Ben Turner will be in our 18, and we're hoping, providing he comes through today, that, and this will be the surprise one, that Nicky Maynard may also be in the 18. On the downside to that, Rob, we look like Witts is going to miss out. He's picked up a little bit of a grade 1 calf injury in training. Tom Adeyemi has got a bit of a thigh strain as well, so he's less than 50-50. Again, I know a little bit more about that one after training. So those 4 are probably, if you like them, major changes.
And no Degashwi still, or
no Dickachoy, Dickachoy. Dickachoy will still train this moment in time. Possibilities for Forest.
If Ben is in the 18, would you like him to get plenty of minutes, or?
Well, he's had quite a few minutes in the build-up to regaining his fitness. If he doesn't start tomorrow, then the chances are higher, shall we say, for him to start in the game at Nottingham Forest.
And what are you looking for from the last 2 games? Obviously, you want 2 wins, but are these the games that leave the impression for you for next season, or what?
Well, I think, Rob, getting those players back is an important part, because for both parties, for ourselves and for the player to know that they're fit going into the close season, like Ben, who's been fighting for his fitness with a couple of nasty injuries this year, to recover and to finish the close season in a fit state, I think is important for them. And Nicky Maynard, who's been plagued, as you know, with injuries, to again, another one to go into the close season, to know that he's fit and healthy. So they're important. Those that we feel are still some way off, if there are some, will not get the whole of the pre-season, will be invited back or asked to come back so we can check on them. That's how important pre-season is, Rob. So that's a very important part of what we're doing now, is ensuring that, the group that finish the season are fit, and those that still require a little bit more work are monitored during the close season.
Maynard, has he got another year left on his contract, or is he up this summer?
He's up this summer, Rob, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Is he in your thoughts for next season?
Well, it's been difficult again, hasn't it? Because he's simply not played, apart from those first few games for me. He's been plagued with his back injury, but we look like we've got to the bottom of it, and he seems to be training well now, and looks like he's coming back well. The only thing he is missing is some minutes on the pitch. But we'll sit down at the end of the season and we'll have a chat.
Because effectively he could be in the shop window, couldn't he, for the next 2 games?
Yeah. But that's the whole point, to have people fit, and from their point of view, to be fit as well, whether they're here on another 2 years or whether they're available at the end of the season.
It's been disappointing at home, hasn't it? You can't hide that. The fans have shown their sort of concern, anger, apathy, whatever you want to call it, towards it. I've been looking back in the Championship years, and 34 points is the lowest total that you've had at home since you come into the Championship. Not you, but the club.
Yeah.
In 2003.
Yeah.
You're on 32 at the moment. And again, you weren't here for all that time, but what is it about? Why has it been so poor at home, would you say?
It's difficult to put your finger on it, Rob, to be honest. When I first came in, the results were, I think we won the first 3 out of 4. We had a very difficult period then at Christmas, playing the top teams, where we did struggle to get a result. we don't seem to have really recovered too much from them. I think we've just a couple of wins since that Christmas period. I think teams have made life difficult in terms of sitting offers, getting behind the ball, and at times I think we've struggled to break teams down that have done that and then relied on the counter-attack to hurt us or cause us a sucker punch on the break.
And is that,
But I'm saying those things, but there'll be lots of other little things that go into whether you win or whether you lose.
Yeah.
It's not very often you can point your finger at one single
home
thing.
form been a particular frustration for you?
Yeah,
because
big frustration. For
tomorrow
all of
is
us.
the last time that
Yeah.
most of the fans will see Cardiff City play this season. So some of them may count their blessings on that, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that the particular frustration? Because
Yeah, it is the biggest
you're almost
frustration.
judged on what people see at home.
Yeah, well, initially the frustration was away from home, wasn't it? Because without winning for such a long time, there was a big build-up of not winning away from home for a long time, wasn't there? And we got over that. Some stage we were going to get over that, and we did. And obviously we went on a 7-game unbeaten run, and that's what we've got to try and achieve. Obviously, at home we've run out of games this season, but if we can finish with a win and then start the season at home in good shape, then who says we can't go on a really long run again, which is what we'll be looking to do, to be consistent and strong and very difficult to beat at home.
Would losing to Blackpool, who've not won away this season, would that be... You don't want to think about losing, but I mean, there's pressure on really, because you don't want to be the team that becomes their only success on the road, do you?
No,
it would almost be an embarrassment, wouldn't it? If you lost?
Of course not. But I mean, Blackpool, and it's a difficult fixture for us, and the respect you have for Blackpool now is they're playing with no fear, and the players playing for contracts, and they picked up points recently. Since they've known their fate, they picked up some good points against some strong sides in the division. So we know it's not going to be... Nobody's taking the game and thinking that this is going to be an easy... This will be a difficult game. And we've got to be up for that, and we will be up for that.
You couldn't countenance losing to a side who haven't won away, could you?
Pardon?
You couldn't countenance losing to a side who haven't won away.
Well, certainly we'll be doing our best to avoid that. That's for sure. We'll set our store out to get the 3 points.
How much are you able to now plan for next season, or do you not know your budgets yet?
Okay, well, there's different ways of planning. You're mentioning the financial side. We've put our targets down, Rob. There's been a process there. Of course, that'll be ongoing, but we would hope that we can attract the ones that we've highlighted to the football club. It'll be a busy period with some players going and some coming in. It's always that for every football club when the window's open. On the other side of it, our preparation in terms of what we're doing pre-season is obviously largely underway and almost complete in terms of where we're going, what we're doing, and we're very close to settling. There'll be 6 pre-season games, very close to settling on those games already. 4 of those have been settled.
So I've done a piece this week online saying that the big dilemma this summer is that next year the parachute payments decline markedly after the second season out of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to spend heavily, aren't you, this summer to get a side capable of challenging for promotion. Would you agree with that, or do you not see it that way?
Well, you're kind of trying to indicate that you got to spend big to get out. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yeah, of course you do need financial power to attract the right players. I do understand that, but it's about getting the right balance. It will be about a sustainability as well. We mentioned so many times about clubs struggling for 2 seasons going. We think we've stabilised to a certain extent. People sometimes don't think it can get worse, but it certainly can. And there are good examples of that up and down the country, as you know. But it's important now that we've regrouped in the Championship, that we now look to move forward. And to do that, we've got to make sure we get the right fits in terms of the recruiting coming in, so we can get the right balance, the right chemistry to move forward. You've got to look at the models of the likes of Bournemouth and the likes of Brentford that have been forces in this league this season and play good, attractive, fast-flowing football.
But they haven't got the... My point being that Vincent either has to stick or twist in that he's, you know, the club is heavily in debt to him, but to improve the financial side as far as he's concerned, he almost has to speculate to accumulate. I know you say, I'm assuming that you have to spend big to get out of this division, but the record suggests that unless you're a long-term project like Bournemouth have been under Eddie Howe, the record suggests that those with the financial muscle, Leicester, Cardiff when they went up, are the ones who do get to the, eventually come to the cream. It took Leicester a few years, took Cardiff a few years, but they do get there in the end.
Well, it's also about sustaining it. Remains to be seen whether Leicester survive. Obviously Cardiff didn't, and that does happen, but I think it's a question of getting the balance right, Rob.
So when you go to see Vincent in Malaysia at the end of the season, have you got a figure in your mind that you would like him to say, this is how much is of it? In other words, do you have a figure in your mind that you
It won't be a figure. It won't be a figure, Rob. It will be looking at this. It will be looking at the targets that we've got available, and then calculating those and just sort of saying, are they going to improve us? This would be a good signing for us, and discussing whether they're a good, as I said, more importantly, whether they're a good fit. That's whether they're a free transfer or whether they're 3 million.
And their targets to us to achieve a promotion push rather than stability next season.
Yes, we want the stability and the promotion push without being greedy, of course.
Couple of things players elsewhere. Javi Guerra thought reports in Spain that Malaga maybe don't want to. Have you heard anything from Guerra's people about him coming back?
No, I haven't, Rob.
Because he's still on contract.
No. All our players are are due back to us on the by the 5th of May. So on that Tuesday, after the last game of the season. So there'll be ongoing talks. We will review the season as a staff on the Sunday and the Monday, and on the Tuesday we will have players in for their close season programmes and for chats with the management team as well. All those players have been notified, and that includes Avi and everybody else. So we will get, my point of saying that is we will get a much clearer picture at the end of the season.
And likewise with Lafondra, have you heard anything
Yes.
from his people again?
Yes,
Neil
yes,
Lennon
yes,
again
yes,
saying today
yes.
that this week that he's maybe someone they would like to look at in a longer term basis.
Yes, of course, and these will inquiries and negotiations and dialogues with various players will go on probably throughout most of the summer in some cases. There's been a fair amount of dialogue with Adam's people, but again, Adam's in to see us Wednesday. He's in on the 6th of May.
As far as you know, does he want to stay at Bolton?
Well, we hear a lot of things and a lot of talk in the papers and such like, but there'll be a face-to-face talk, frank and honest talk when he comes on the 6th.
Okay. And Kenwyn and Connolly, if they move into playoffs, they stay with their clubs for playoffs as well?
Yes, they do.
Up to the final or whatever, so
yes,
they won't be coming back. Kevin McNaughton, his contract...
No, there'll still be dialogue with them to see us in May. Yeah.
Kevin McNaughton?
Yeah, Kevin's been notified. Again, he'll be back to have a chat with us.
Because his contract is up, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you got any thoughts on whether he'll be here next season? Or?
Well, obviously I'll be speaking to them next week.
Okay.
Or the week after.
And a bit left field for me, but Gary Mills looks like he's going to get the Wrexham job. I think he's someone you know quite well, don't you?
Yeah, no, Gary. Yeah.
Did you work with him at Notts County?
Yes, yeah, he was a player. He was at Forest, obviously, so and I worked at Notts County for a good number of years, and then he came to Notts County in the latter part of his career. Played him last season at Gateshead in a pre-season friendly, so yeah, I know Gary.
And his job as his sort of work as a manager, I mean, took York up, didn't he? Won the trophy, took them up the following week.
Yeah.
Plays some really nice football.
I thought he was really unlucky, Rob, to lose his job at York. They may have been looking for further improvement, but really that hasn't happened at York, has it? You know, they've just avoided getting in the mix for relegation back to the conference. So I thought he did a really good job there, and under a limited kind of budget at Gateshead, done a terrific job. I think they were in the playoffs last season, I remember, against Grimsby, and they look like they're just going to miss out, don't they, this season on those playoffs. But I mean, I thought he'd done a really good job and produced a lot of players that have gone on to play League One, League Two.
So you might think a decent fit for Wrexham if
I do. Yeah. I think that's quite shrewd.
Right.
Knows the league really well too.
Because they're you know about Wrexham, and they're a big club for that division, aren't they? And they've been out of the league now nearly 8 years, which is a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. Mills has won the European Cup. I think he knows his way around, Rob.
I think he does. Twice.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thanks.
Okay.
What's the feeling in the dressing room at the moment among the players? You know, with 2 games left, there's not a lot to play for. You're playing Blackpool Saturday. We've got nothing to play for, really.
Yeah, they're still wanting to do. They're still wanting to finish the season in good shape. There's a good atmosphere, Terry. I think that's improved over my time here, to be honest.
There's a bit of a buzz in training, is there?
Yeah.
I know.
Good. Still training very well. Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of decisions over the summer as well, I suppose. You know.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of that work ethic, I mean, from when I came in, I think the distances we're covering as a side, it's about 5 kilometres more than what we were covering as a side, which is quite substantial. If you've ever ran 5 kilometres, you would understand that's.
Wow.
You know.
I've driven it.
A fair.
Driven it, yeah. It's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah.